Welcome to this little family tale. We have always been fond of Fiats in my family, but I guess I didn't realize the whole link until a couple of years ago. But let me show you. I guess it's not much of a spoiler alert because, like the video says, I have found my family's old Fiat after a lot of years. But yeah, sorry about that's the wrong way. But I've been wanting to tell you this story for a long time, and but it involves a lot of talk, waffle. So you don't fall asleep. I've decided to divide it up into small sections, and this is part number one. And I promise you, it involves a forgotten dealership. It involves old family memories and breakdowns. But first things first, I am a lot into history, and that is part of my interest in old cars, that I like history, and especially the history that goes with the cars. So one of the greatest things for me would be to find an old family car. My father is not especially into cars, he just likes to drive them, but there was one car that I had heard a lot about, and let me show you why. Even before I was born, between 71 and 76, my family had a Fiat 850 Special. And there's not a lot of photos in this album, and you didn't take that many photos back then. But this car, my father was really fond of it. He was actually so fond of it that he had a major rust repair made on it because it drove so well. And after that big repair, it got a tow bar, so they could go on camping in Norway with a, what do you call that? A tent wagon, a camplet it's called. So the small car had to haul two adults, three kids, and that tent wagon. So yeah, but that was a little bit too much for the little Fiat. So the engine went bust, head gasket went. So it was repaired in the tent by somebody they met at the camping site in Norway. So, and then the car could lump back, and but it never drove right again. So my dad he sold the car on. So yeah, and as you can see, it had a roof rack as well. So, but naturally, that was a vacation that you couldn't forget. So that's why I have always heard a lot about this car, even though it was traded in a year before I was born in 77. So naturally, it would be really cool if I could find that car. But I know that it went bust, so what was the chances of it surviving? Not a, not great. And my father always traded in his cars when they were broke, so I didn't leave it much chance. But yeah, luck would have it that I found it anyway. So I will get into the details in the next episode, but I'll give you a little clue as why it was difficult to me. This is black and white. I was told that the car was green. So naturally I would look for Fiat 850 specials advertised, and I would look for a green car. But it turns out that during that major rust repair, that was such a big repair that the car had to be painted afterwards, so it changed color. It changed color into yellow. But I didn't realize that until 30 years later. And now the car is red, and you will see later on that it has another registration, but that's because in Denmark you don't keep them. But yeah, I found it. Facebook helped me. Interest in US cars from a friend helped me. And yeah, it's a crazy story, but I will get into you. But I can say one thing: this car now, it's 2022. I promise you, it is exactly the same Fiat that my family had from 71 to 76. So that is a holy grail car for somebody like me who really digs into the story of the cars. So not only do I have the same model, I have the exact same car. So Fiat 850 Special 1969. Just give me a second, I'll show you the original color. Here under the dash, it still has what my father described as green. I have forgotten the original name, but yeah, I guess you can say it was green. But when the car had a major rust repair, uh, I guess the painter, he didn't have the correct color. He was actually later my what do you call it, my coach for in badminton, but I didn't know that at the time. But he painted cars in his garage, and well, I guess he had a yellow color for, I guess it was a Volkswagen or Opel color, and that was the color it got next. But I'll show you that in a later picture. So I hope I have piqued your interest a little bit on how this car survived. It didn't survive in this condition. It has been restored, and not by me. And that is part of the reason why it's now red, because that was the color that the guy who restored it thought that a Fiat should have. So, but hang on for the next episode. It will get a little bit more weird. See you.